Hi everyone, welcome back to Sans Global Immigration, where we talk a lot about Canadian immigration and moving to Canada. So if you are aspiring to move to Canada, or even you are inside Canada and looking for pathways for your permanent residency, or you already are a PR and looking for your citizenship pathway, or maybe looking to sponsor your relatives, then yes, this is the channel you must be subscribed to all the time. So yes, go ahead and press the subscribe button. In today's video, we are going to discuss everything in detail about the spousal sponsorship, the sponsoring your spouse, your loved ones for the Canadian permanent residency. So yes, here is a snapshot of what all we are going to discuss in today's video. So yes, we are going to talk about the eligibility, we are going to talk about the inland or outlet option, which one you should opt for as per your situation, how to apply it, we are going to show you the PR portal. Then we're also going to talk about the checklist, processing fees, what are the next steps after submission of your application. Then can your spouse apply for a work permit after submitting the PR application, the sponsorship application, and what if you only have a COPR, in that case can you sponsor someone, then important links. And before starting, those of you who don't know and who are watching my video for the first time, so let me introduce myself. I am Neha Bhalla. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, licensed, authorized to handle your immigration matters and cases. So yes, we operate from Mississauga, Ontario. This is our office address. Yes, now without wasting any time, let's start with the video. First, now start with the eligibility. Basically, you want to apply for the spousal sponsorship. You want to sponsor your husband or your wife. Then, yes, what is the eligibility? First, we have to see, are you really eligible to sponsor them or not? So the first criteria is you should either be a permanent resident or a citizen, and that to 18 plus years of age. So you should also be 18 plus and your spouse should also be 18 plus. The second eligibility criteria is that you should be living inside Canada. Yes, so if you are a permanent resident, then this is a very rigid criteria that you have to anyhow be inside Canada to sponsor your spouse. But if you are a Canadian citizen, then yes, there is an exception for you. You can sponsor your spouse even if you are residing outside Canada. But yes, in the application, you have to prove that once your spouse becomes a permanent resident, then you and your spouse, you both intend to stay inside Canada after she or he becomes a permanent resident. The third criteria for you to be eligible is that you should not be taking any social assistance from the government other than the disability payments. So yes, to make it clear here, because many people have doubts, because many people take employment insurance and many are on maternity benefits. Maternity benefits and employment insurance are not considered as social assistance. So if you are taking EI or you are taking the maternity benefits, these are not social assistance. So yes, there is no problem. You can go ahead and file for the sponsorship application. The fourth eligibility criteria is related to funds. So see, for the spousal sponsorship cases, like wherein you are sponsoring your husband or your wife, in that cases there is no minimum mandatory fund criteria that you should hold. But it's a general requirement that you should show that you will be able to support your spouse inside Canada once they become a PR. So a general criteria, no minimum funds criteria. Basically, I would say you should have a good employment, which shows that you are getting, salary, you are getting the regular salaries, regular pay slips, which shows that yes, you can easily support your spouse. I've even done some cases wherein the sponsor who did not even have a job, the sponsor was studying. So in those cases, we have to give a letter of explanation. We have to give a plan that how will the sponsor be able to take care of the person he or she is sponsoring. So you have to give a plan for that. Yes, no minimum fund criteria, but you should be able to show that you will be able to support your spouse. So yes, these were the main eligibility criteria. There are certain criterias which make you not eligible to sponsor someone. Conditions, those criteria which make you not eligible to sponsor someone, I have discussed in my previous spousal sponsorship video, whose link I will post over here. So you can go ahead and see that video if you want to know the criteria. So those are basically, like bankruptcies, previously sponsored someone. So such criteria are there. Now you think you are eligible to sponsor. So yes, we can move on to the next part, that is the deciding whether you should, sponsor your spouse through the inland or the outland procedure. Outland is sponsoring your spouse under the family class, whereas inland application is sponsoring your spouse or your partner under the inside Canada class. Now let's discuss the advantages, disadvantages, and not only the pros and cons, but also what suits as per your situation. So say suppose you, the person you want to sponsor, your spouse, is currently residing inside Canada, maybe on a study permit, maybe he or she is here on a visit visa, or is currently on a work permit. So if they're inside Canada, you can sponsor them inside Canada class. And yes, the second option is outland spousal sponsorship. So yes, if your spouse is living outside of Canada, the only option is outland spousal sponsorship. You can sponsor them through the outland procedure. So, and also make sure that maybe your spouse is inside Canada, but you think that they will not remain inside Canada for the rest of the procedure, rest of the process. So that in that case, we would suggest you don't apply for the inland sponsorship. Even though they are inside Canada, apply for the outland sponsorship. Also, one more thing is that, if you want to apply for the inland only because you want your spouse to be with you during the process, then what option you have is you can apply for a TRV for them, that is the temporary resident visa or a visitor visa. You can apply the visitor visa for your spouse, and once approved, they can come inside Canada. And once inside Canada, you can start the inland spousal sponsorship process for them. In fact, you can apply the visit visa afterwards also. So maybe you apply the outland sponsorship, and once the outland sponsorship is applied, you can later apply the visit visa for them. So even though the outland is in process, your spouse can come here and live with you on a TRV, that's on a visit visa. Next, we're going to talk about how to apply the spousal sponsorship application. So yes, our firm do apply the spousal sponsorship application for you. If you have any complications or something, you can contact us. Else, yes, you can go ahead and apply the spousal sponsorship on your own. So we can show you the website and how to go about it. So yes, as you can see here now, you can just go on the Google, you can type PR portal login. What you will see is this permanent resident portal, PR portal sign in. So when you click this, you will get this portal. This is the PR portal. So you can sign in. So you won't have a sign in, so you can go ahead and create an account. So you can go ahead and create an account for this one. And then once your account is created, a screen will show like this once you log in. Apply for the PR or apply for the renewal replacement of PR card. So you have to choose this option, which is the PR application. So you can simply say start new PR application. So you have to choose the program under which is to be applied. So it's the family program and it is the spousal program. So now they will ask you whether you want to apply the outland or the inland. Family class, this is the outland application. This is the inland and this is the inland. So next, see, for us it is showing client email because we are showing from our portal. Otherwise, you have to put everything your details. So suppose I write ABC just for random, just to show you. So yes, we have to continue, and yes, it will be, the profile will be created. So you have to fill all such information. I'm putting a random postal code. Okay, residential, same as mailing address. Yes, add dependent. Add dependent is only when your spouse has kids. So it's for that. You save and continue. So when everything is done, this kind of portal you will see. So you have to complete the forms. These are the certain forms, certain PDF forms, supporting documents. See. So as you can see, these are the forms. So these kind of forms, these you will press edit and you will have to press, it will take you to the another page and you'll have to continue filling your information like this. Okay, so you have to fill all this information. So after this is done, after you are done with the forms and everything, so there are country specific forms also. So it's not necessary that these are the only 4 forms which have to be filled. These are the mandatory ones which like everyone has to fill. But as per your country, the country of residence and the country of citizenship of the applicant, there may be some other forms which need to be attached. So these are also certain forms which need to be filled and attached. And apart from that, there are certain other forms which are to be chosen as per your specific situation, right? So these the top ones, these are mandatory for everyone, and these are certain other forms which are as per your specific situation, which sometimes need to be attached for you. And their documentation, so yes, there are certain documents, these are the mandatory ones which need to be attached, but apart from that there are many others which have to be attached. So there are a number of additional documents which need to be attached. See, these are not valid, not every document is valid, like TRB is not valid for your case, right? So no CV resume is not valid, confirmation of nomination is not for you, proof of language is not for you, but there are certain other which are for you. The checklist need to be attached, and sometimes a letter of explanation depending upon your situation need to be attached, right? So national ID cards required, marriage certificate is required, proof of funds is required, employment is required. So such documents, proof of income required. So depending upon your situation and the type of application we are applying, outland or inland, we need to attach a number of documents over here. Then is the proof of payment. There's a different portal, there's pay your fees. When you click this, it will take you to another link, so you'll have to pay your fees accordingly and then attach the receipt over here. And once everything is done, the consent is signed, then you can just submit your application. Let's talk about the document checklist. What are the main important documents which are required in almost every situation? Yes, there might be some other documents which might be required as per your particular situation, but apart from that, these are the basic documents which are required. So as you can see, the sponsor status in Canada, the person who is sponsoring, his status proof is needed. So whether you are PR or whether you are a citizen, depending upon that, we need a proof for that. So then we need your employment or your source of income, maybe your company's employment letter, your offer letter, then your recent pay slips, your bank statements, your notice of assessment, that is your tax documents, might be required. Then regarding the principal applicant, who is the principal applicant is the person for whom we are sponsoring, right? For whom you are sponsoring basically. So for that person require the passport copy. If they are already inside Canada, then we require a proof that how they are inside Canada, that whether it is they are on the study permit, on a work permit, or they are on a visit visa. We need the proof for that. And if they're not inside Canada, that's fine. We don't need any such proof. We need their birth certificate, we need their national identity card, we need their proof of address, we need the marriage certificate proof, we need the police clearance certificate, we need a digital photo which has its own specific requirement. Yes, a medical examination is not to be done right now. It is to be done only when requested by IRC. The last one is the relationship proof. This one is the most important section, because this is the main reason why majority of application gets declined. That is, the relationship is not genuine. So it's very important to give strong relationship proofs in your application, because spousal sponsorship application is one application where there is no eligibility criteria for the principal applicant, where Canada is not asking for any language exam, they're not asking that you have any previous employment, they're not asking any funds, no such requirements, but the entire thing is based on your relationship. So relationship should be genuine, and this is the most important part of the documentation for your file. So see, relationship proofs documentation also depends upon certain things, like if you are living together and if you're not living together, and if your marriage is at least 2 years old or not. So depending upon these criteria, the documentation may vary. But yes, remember to attach as many proofs as you can to make the application stronger. See here, if you are living together, so what you can attach is you can basically show proofs. Maybe you own a house, and you can show the ownership proof saying the house is in the name of both the applicant, of both the person. And if you are not owning a house, you're renting a property, show that, show a rental agreement saying both your names, show joint bank accounts. And then yes, if you're not living together, you have to give certain additional documents, which are like proof of contact. How are you basically contacting with your spouse, right? So are you contacting through any emails, WhatsApp chats, or any other social media thing, or calls? So you have to give the screenshots of everything. And yes, if your WhatsApp chats are entirely in your language, right? So suppose you speak Hindi or you speak Punjabi and the entire WhatsApp is in Hindi or Punjabi, then it's necessary that you get translations done. But yes, if part is in your few words are in your language and most of it is in English, then translation is not needed. So basically you have to show how you are contacting each other. To show the proof of visits, have you visited each other? Suppose you are in Canada, your spouse whom you are sponsoring is inside India. So, and you visited for your marriage, right? So you need to show the boarding passes, the air tickets if you have, and maybe after your marriage you went to some place, like air tickets you have for both of you traveling to a common place. So maybe hotel reservations you have. So such proofs are needed. And yes, if you are married for less than 2 years, there are many other additional documents which are needed, which are like the photographs proof, the photograph document we have to prepare. What to expect after you have submitted your application. So once your application is submitted, so after that you have to wait for the acknowledgement of receipt, that is the AOR. AOR basically is a confirmation which IRCC gives you that yes, you have submitted your application, they have received your application and your application is complete. AOR does not mean it is approved, it just means they have received your application and now they will review your application, right? So first you get an AOR. Currently, as of now, we are getting AOR for our clients within 2 to 4 months. So few are getting like as early as 2 months, few are getting like 3.5 to 4 months. So this is the current timeline. So once you get the acknowledgement of receipt, that you get on your email. So make sure you regularly check your email also. But if you have filed your application through some RCIC, that is a legal representative, then they will get an email on your behalf. So make sure you keep in touch with your licensed consultant for the AORs. And yes, once you get the AOR, then the next steps will start, like getting biometrics requests, getting the medicals requests. Then these are done. Then there will be a background check. There will be an eligibility check where they check, your relationship also, whether it is genuine or not. And if they have any doubt, they can also call you for an interview for your relationship check. Otherwise, interview is not done every time. Next, let's talk about the most commonly asked question, that is, can my spouse apply for the work permit once the spousal sponsorship application is submitted? So yes, the answer is yes, it can be applied. So as per the IRCC earlier guidelines, the work permit application, the work permit was only allowed in the case of inland spousal sponsorship. But temporary measures have been taken out by IRCC, wherein they're now allowing these outland spouses also to apply for the work permits. But the question is when you can apply the work permit. In case of inland, your spouse is already inside Canada, right? So they already have some legal status like a visit visa or a work permit or a study permit. So once the spousal sponsorship application is submitted and once you receive the AOR, then they can apply for the work permit on the basis of the spousal sponsorship application. But in case of outland, if your spouse is outside Canada, they first need to apply for a TRV. They need to be inside Canada. Then once you receive the AOR also, and once the spouse is inside Canada, then a work permit can be applied. Let's talk about the processing fees. What is the fees you have to pay? So here you can see the chart. So sponsor your spouse or partner. So this is the $1080 fee which you have to pay. This includes the 515 plus 75, and yes, the biometric fees is 85. So you have to pay 1080 plus 85, which comes out to be 1165. So yes, 1165 is the fees which you have to pay for the spousal sponsorship application. Yes, if you hire a legal representative, legal consultant to handle your application, then definitely they charge their own professional fees. Plus you have to pay a government fees of 1165 CAD. Next commonly asked question is that yes, I have a COPR currently, but not a PR card. So can I go ahead and apply for the spousal sponsorship? So the answer is yes, you can. So even if you have a COPR, that is the confirmation of your permanent residency, it means that you are a permanent resident, whether you have received your PR card or not. So on the basis of COPR, yes, it is a proof that you are a permanent resident. So yes, you can go ahead and apply for the spousal sponsorship of your spouse. Now talking about certain things that can delay the processing time of your application and hence the decision on your application. First is unclear photocopies of the documents. So yes, if you have uploaded some of the documents and those copies are not clear, it's not clear to the visa officer what is there, because sometimes what happens is on the portal there is a size limitation that you cannot upload more than 4 MB of a document. So for that you go to a website, you compressed your document and uploaded it. So during the compressing, the quality of the document went down. So if that document is unclear to the visa officer, then verification of those documents that the visa officer has to do on its own. So or else it may give you an additional document request may send an email to you requesting for the another document for the same. So these things might delay the process. Another thing which might cause a delay on your process, maybe you have not filled the forms properly. They ask for the complete record of your last 10 years, right? Like what you were doing this particular date to this particular date. So if you have not given that records properly, you did not fill your address history properly, so these things might cause a delay in your application. And also if the spouse has any kind of severe medical conditions, any criminality or security issues, then these things also may cause a delay in your application. And now the last thing is the important links. So yes, there are few important links which would help you file your spousal sponsorship application, like the link for the PR portal, certain important CIC links which gives the complete procedure of the spousal sponsorship application, which gives you the document checklist, the guideline of each and every document, and yes, the steps for the application, like what you have to do, the certain documents you have to collect like PCC and details about the medicals and everything. So I'll post those important links in the below section, so you can go ahead, click those links, and yes, definitely get to know more about the spousal sponsorship process. And yes, those of you who are not comfortable doing it on your own and definitely need a professional guidance, they can go ahead and contact us on the below number. And definitely we are legally authorized to file your applications, so definitely we'll help you out with your complete spousal sponsorship applications. So yes, thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, as we do come out regularly with such informative topics and videos related to Canadian immigration.